Hmm. Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Yo, we got some people coming in, I guess. Um, awesome. Does anyone have any questions? Any travel questions for me? Any? I'm John. Okay, bro. Congratulations for having a name, I guess. I'm just fucking with you. Bro's a known crop duster. I'm a crop duster? What do you mean by crop duster? Do you mean like I fart somewhere? Or are you talking about something else by crop dusting? You guys have heard that term before, right? Like so like if you're like in a if you're like at a like a party or something, right? And you don't know where to fart, what a lot of people do, and this is called crop dusting, is you'll just like walk around the party and just like do a bunch of tiny little farts. And anybody can like by the time anyone realizes that a fart has happened, you're already gone. You know what I mean? That's what most people refer to. That's what I've always referred to as crop dusting. If you guys have another definition, should I have your picture up at stores to warn the rest of us about what? About my crop dusting, bro? Even with a picture, you'd have no idea. No, I used to I worked at a I worked at a restaurant for like a couple years, and like I perfected my crop dusting routine. So people just join. Crop dusting is when you're at a party and you need to fart, and you just do like tiny little farts. We do is you walk around the party and you do tiny little farts so that no one knows that you're the one who farted. That is such a pro move. If you can figure out how to do that well, trust me, your entire life will change. And so I was working. Any good waiter knows how to do this very well. I mean, at this point in the night, usually they weren't really eating that much. This was usually at like the more like busy parts of the night that I would do this. This is when everyone was just like drinking at the bar. Like, yeah, I would just be running around doing lines. Did I just go live? Yeah, dude, I'm live. Yo, so I'm talking about crop dusting just because I don't have any travel questions yet. But if there are any travel questions, I can answer those, or I can just talk more about like me farting as a waiter. Any tips for bachelor's party in July? I mean, I think everyone knows what my tip is gonna be. My tip is gonna be that you should go to my any Rio tips for bachelors in July. Oh, if you go to Rio, that I don't really have any specific tips on that. I mean, Rio's not really a good location for a bachelor party. Like, why would you do a bachelor party in Rio? Rio is a really Rio is kind of a bad place for a bachelor party, I think. I wouldn't go to Rio. There are like 10 other places in South America I would probably go to before Rio. I think the best place for a bachelor party is Dun Dun requested to join as a guest. Okay, sure. What do you have to say?
What's going on, bro?
I'm not bringing
Praise the
on a
Lord.
bunch of guests just yet. So if you have a question, what's up? But what's up?
Yeah, I think Rio is a boring city. Like I get it. I think Rio is just it's a beach and a ghetto. and it's a ghetto on top. I don't think Rio's fun. I've been on one of your panels before. I don't think Rio's a fun place. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. I thought Sao Paulo was much better, right? Because they got like Scandalo in Sao Paulo, but I thought Rio was garbage.
I mean, did you go to
I'm
Pedro
talking
de
about Rio.
Sal?
Bro, Pedro de Sal. So I'm a black person, and Pedro de Sal made me appreciate slavery because it was so ghetto. I'm like, thank God I ended up in America because it's ghetto and gay. Pedro de Sal is a bunch of gay Brazilian dudes with their shirts off and a bunch of white, like these white Europeans that chase after these ghetto women. Like they're in America, you see black women with weaves and wigs and tattoos, and it's perceived as ghetto. But in Brazil, it's perceived as exotic. Like if it's ghetto, Pedro de Sal was a big ghetto. I can go hang out on the south side of Chicago. It looks just like Pedro de Sal. Like what? Like it's not cool to me.
Did you go on like a on a boat ride around the bay?
No, I went surfing in Brazil.
Okay.
I did the surfing thing for the water stuff, but I feel like Rio is boring. All they do is sit on that beach all day.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else outside. The restaurants are. I went to Rubiat, the restaurant. I went to the Churrasca place, which is the Brazilian barbecue. I did go to the Fogo de Chao. The one in Rio is supposed to be like the best one.
In Botafogo?
It's boring. Yes, I went to one in Botafogo. It's like overlooking the bay or whatever, overlooking the water. I just found it to be boring.
Yeah.
I thought Sao Paulo had better restaurants, right? I thought Sao Paulo had better looking women. And I thought Sao Paulo was like easy. I even thought the nightlife was better in Sao Paulo. Like I know people go to Lapa. I didn't go to Lapa this last time, but I've been to like Vitrini, All in One. And I'm just like,
did you go around Centro?
Centro is Lapa. I went to like 4x4,
Okay,
little strip club over there. I went there, but nah, bro. And then I go to language exchanges, and it's all the same shit at the language exchange. It's ghetto women that look like Sexy Red, who's like a ghetto rap star, going to meet these white guys from Europe.
Yeah,
and the white guys from Europe, oh, it's so exotic. Not where I live at in America. That's considered ghetto.
I mean, I think I wouldn't like. I don't think that they're like that though. They're a little bit more like mixed than they're like ghetto. Don't you think? Or
bro, go to Pedro de Sal, bro. Pedro de Sal. What makes them ghetto is the weave, the tattoos, the all of the all the stuff that black women do here that we say is ghetto. I've seen 10 times more of that stuff in Brazil. Excuse me, not in Brazil, but in Rio. Than I see. Like, let's be real. If Atlanta had a beach or Baltimore had a beach, it would be Rio de Janeiro.
So I do agree. Like Brazilian women have a lot of tattoos. I mean, we'll definitely agree on that. I mean, if you don't mind me saying this, like, or rather, like, I'll put this in terms of me first, and then I'll kind of turn it to you. So my family's from Poland, right? And I don't like Poland at all. I've had a lot of bad memories of Poland, Polish culture, everything with Poland, right? So I'd rather not associate with Poland. I'd rather not be a part of Poland. So even when I go to Poland and there are things that are kind of nice about it, I just kind of view it in terms of the overall Polish experience that I don't like. And it seems like there's a lot about. I mean, we can call whatever word you want to use, maybe ghetto culture or like. I'm not sure if I would call that specifically ghetto, but I understand why you're calling it ghetto. But I feel like I feel like you're just predisposed to really not like that stuff, and I think you just kind of need a different place to go to. You know what I mean? Sorry, go.
The thing is this, Paulie, would you go hang out on the south side of Chicago? Would you go hang out in Compton? No, it's like that's perceived. Why is it when you go to Brazil, this is perceived as cool by the same people that would not perceive this as cool in America. And to be honest with you, the Brazilian girls, well, the ones in Rio, because the ones in Sao Paulo are bad. They're very attractive. But the ones in Rio, they are kind of like, dude, I've been to the strip club. These girls don't have their feet done. I don't see it. I don't get the Rio. I'm just trying to figure out. Did you like Rio?
I loved Rio. Yeah, I mean,
What did you do?
here's the thing though. Like, I would never live in Rio though. So I obviously I get what you're saying because like if I loved Rio, like I would live there. But like I didn't love it like that, obviously, because I don't live there, right? Or like I would never live in Rio de Janeiro. Um, but I mean, first of all, I think Rio de Janeiro is just putting the people aside for a second, right? Rio de Janeiro is the most beautiful place on planet Earth, I think.
Yeah,
Like,
undoubtedly, but
yeah,
it's a ghetto on top. It's like San Francisco, or L.A., California. There's parts of California that are beautiful,
yeah.
but there's a ghetto on top of it. And the buildings, like, what's up with the building? Like, all the elevators, like the 40s. There's no new build. All the buildings look old. I don't get the hype. It's just a big ghetto with a beach surrounding it.
I mean, I don't mind the old buildings. I mean, you know, as I said, I spent a lot of time in my childhood in Poland, so I'm just used to like, you know, old buildings and that type of stuff. I don't really mind it that much. But yeah, no, I mean, I thought, you know, for one, I think it's the most beautiful place on planet Earth. Two, I actually really like Pedro de Sol. I think a lot of the girls are hot. I think that yes, they do have tattoos, but you know, I'm willing to look past it, to be honest.
I saw so much gay stuff. In Pedro de Sol, I saw 10-year-old black Brazilian kids on a school night twerking on each other and people cheering it on. And then I'm seeing, like, if you looked at, if Pedro de Sol was in your neighborhood in America, I'm calling the police. Like, it's a bunch of guys. I gotta be honest, dude. I don't know if you're a religious person, but Pedro de Sol was the closest thing I've seen to hell. I'm telling you, between the open weed smoke, the ghetto-ness, the homosexuality, the weird, it just was weird, bro. Like, I don't know, like Sao Paulo has nightclubs and stuff like that. I thought Sao Paulo was just better as a city. I don't know. I thought it was cool. I thought the nightlife was okay. I thought, you know, versus Rio, I just can't see it. I can't see the hype.
Yeah, I mean, there's just different strokes for different folks, I guess. You know, where did you stay in Rio, and how long were you there?
Okay, let me tell you this. First time I went to Rio, I stayed there 10 days. Now, the first time I stayed in Copacabana.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, I don't know what's going on with the laws, but everything there is so old to where it's like you can't buy or redevelop stuff. I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
So every time I get into a Rio elevator, I think I'm gonna die. Right. So first time I stayed in Copacabana. The second time I came back, I stayed in Copacabana, but then I switched. But I just thought it was so dirty. I switched to Ipanema, and Ipanema to me was no better. It's just a cesspool, and like I just don't. And the women, I just thought Sao Paulo was better. I'm sorry. I don't think that out of all of South America, I think that their women there are very overrated. I am of the opinion that Latina women have only become attractive in the last 20 years with cheap plastic surgery. I think it helped them not age as faster, and it gave them more curves where they used to have like angles and stuff like that. So,
I remember this take. I remember this take.
So you remember me now.
Yeah.
You remember me now. So okay. So I think Colombian women are way better looking. I think Colombia is more fun. I think like Colombian nightlife especially like Bogota. Bogota had it. That one little street in Zona Tay is really fun.
I love
Right?
Bogota, but Bogota's what made me fall in love with South America. My first trip to South America was Bogota, and I was just like, I need to live here.
Okay, let me tell you what I like about Bogota. Right, you could hoe them up or hoe them down. Like I can go party over in Zona Tay, or I can go to Santa Fe, and I've done both.
Yeah.
In Santa Fe and inside the strip clubs like Troya over in Santa Fe, right? Or I can go to Zona Tay and go to Clandestino or whatever the clubs is around there. But I do like Boga, and they got a Vapiano, the Vapiano pasta place. We used to have one of those in America. We don't have those anymore. So I do like Bogota, right? But Rio, I'm gonna give Rio one more chance. But I just, what am I missing with Rio, bro? What am I like? Next time I'll try to go to Bosque Bar or whatever, because I didn't go there this last time. Everybody talks about that, but Rio to me is just missing something, man.
Yeah, I mean, I just like, honestly, I mean, if you want to give Rio another chance, do it. But I just don't think Rio's for you. I think, one thing I'm a big believer in is I think that like there are different, different structure, different folks. There are different places that are better for different people, right? Like for example, I have a bunch of buddies who love Asia. I have friends who moved to Asia. They love Asia. They've lived in Asia and everything. I just don't love it. I like Asia. I can go there for 6 months, but I can't live in Asia. You know what I mean? Like I can't.
Yeah.
I don't find Asian women attractive. You know what I mean? Like
So,
I get
about,
why
like,
they
Japanese
do.
women?
What?
What about like a lot of the dudes that travel? They go to like and all of that, right? What about like Japan and Korea?
Japanese women are the only Asian women that I find attractive. Korean women, I don't. Once you go to Korea, you'll. Have you been to
They're
Korea?
pretty exclusive, I hear. No, I hear they're very exclusive. They don't
No,
like foreigners.
let me tell you, and by the way, this is kind of similar to your point about Rio de Janeiro, but it's very true about Korea, less so about Rio de Janeiro. People have been lying to the world about Korean women. There is a giant misinformation campaign about Korean women because there have been a lot of Korean women who have gotten a lot of plastic surgery. And those are the only Korean women that Americans see. Like literally, you go to Korea, it seems as if like, Korea as a country seems like a place as if like imagine if like there were like, one country just happened to be half French and half Trinidadian. You know what I mean?
Oh God, no.
And so half the women are post plastic surgery and they look like the Korean women that you see on TV.
K-pop.
And the other half literally have a square jaw like mine. And you're like either there are two different races of people living here or everyone has had plastic surgery. So I don't find Korean women attractive, but Japanese women they have the natural like, like upside down triangle head that like you associate with Asian women. So
oh wow. Well, the thing about it is this: one of the things I like about these places outside of the women, and I do like the women, but I love going to the language exchanges and making the people mad, right? Because especially the liberal people, because I'm like a real American, right? So like, I'm happy with what America does in the world, even right now, and like they never seen anybody that stands on their square, right? And I do like going to the language exchanges because I kind of want to shoot the shit with them a little bit. I want us to crack jokes back and forth with each other. And, I do like that. So I'm curious about the Asian people because I hear they're very exclusive and very quote unquote racist.
Like,
and I want to experience that firsthand. And me, I'm kind of light skinned. I look like Drake a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, I want to see how I'm treated because they may think I'm an Indian or something like that. And they may be, I want to see how racist they are. And I want to be racist to them.
With Asian people, so the only group of people that South Asians and East Asians are really racist to are Indians. They hate Indians there. They absolutely despise Indians.
Yeah.
Which is a whole other conversation. But if
Yeah.
if you are like an American, so like I think what happens a lot of times is that like um people like the word racist used to mean something. Nowadays
Yeah.
it doesn't really mean anything anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I think everybody is.
yeah,
I am, and I think that they are, and I think that they, um, you know, I I'm black and light skinned, so they want to crack fried chicken. I probably laugh and eat chicken in front of them,
dude. So
and
so,
I want
so
to be.
John Calvin's trying to provoke an anti-India rant from me. I'm just gonna say something
Oh
very
no, bro.
quickly. Where like one of the reasons why is because um, Indian tourists are just the worst. Like they steal, they scam, they're rude, they don't tip.
Remember that lady at Target?
Yeah.
What did I do? I was gonna pay for this. What did I do?
But yeah. So the term racist has really been redefined to mean so many weird things. So like in Japan, for instance, like the reason why people consider Japanese people racist is because what people say, and it's true, which is you can live in Japan for 50 years, and you can get married to a Japanese woman, have a Japanese kid, and they will never consider you Japanese, right? And,
Good.
and people call that racist, but it's just like, but you're not Japanese, like,
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not Japanese.
like how is that racist? You know what I mean? And so what I'll say is like a lot of the stereotypes of these people being racist really just comes down to people redefining and not really understanding what the word racist actually means. Like most, like you'll be 100% fine in Asia. They love
Well,
Americans there.
I wanna listen. Like I told, like I like going to language exchanges so I can talk to the Brazilian people, and they can ask me what I feel about immigrants, and I can tell them I don't want them there.
Yeah.
And like one time I went to Colombia and I went to language exchange and I was like, yeah, I don't want Colombians in the country. And they're like, well, that's racist. I'm like, oh, really? What you think about Venezuelans? And they're like, we don't like them. And I'm like, well, why can you say you don't like? And they say it openly.
Yeah.
They say it openly in Colombia. They like, yeah, we don't like Venezuelans, but they live next door to you. Why can't I say that about you?
Yeah.
And they understood me. But I like having them combos. Not only just the women, I want to have fun. But the thing is this, right? The group I'm going to feel the safest with is, our arch enemies in America, which is white people, right? I feel like white people, and this is how I'd explain to the Brazilians, because they were, well, racism this and the white man don't love you this and all that. Shut up. America is Gotham City, and we are the Joker, and the white man is Batman. Yes, we are enemies, but we the main characters in the city. Like, and that's just like long term. If I ever lived anywhere, it would be outside of America. It had to be around white people because I feel like those are the people I've been around the longest. I don't know.
I mean,
So
everybody talks about how much they hate white people, and the second they make some money, they decide they need to live amongst white people, and then they sue white people for not allowing them to live near them. It's like
that's the black way.
if you guys hate white people so much, why do you insist on being around
no,
us?
No, we are okay. Our relationship with white people is Tom and Jerry.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm not gonna let America. I'm not gonna allow a third character in this show, bro. So when I go to Colombia or whatever, I let them know off top. It's us and the white man. I don't know about none of y'all, but that's just what it is. Like long term, I do want to start going. I'm starting to like the white looking women more, and I guess Sao Paulo is that, but I do want to go more places where there's more white women. I don't know where those places are though.
Argentina.
But does that have a scene though? Have you been there? Does Argentina have like a nightlife scene? Does it have do you know what scandalo is in Brazil?
What's a scandalo? For some reason, I don't know that word.
You've never heard of scandalo? Have you ever heard of 4x4 in Rio?
Yeah.
Okay, is there a 4x4 in Argentina?
Yeah, I mean, there are a bunch of different places where you can go to, like, drink and have fun.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. Because I
Like.
just feel like the info on Argentina isn't out there like it is on every other place.
I mean, that's good though, isn't it?
Yeah, that is good, but I feel like now there's so many places now, um, even America, right? Like, nobody's if you're the minute that you graduate from college, nobody's meeting anybody. Everything is transactional, right? So all of these places now, there's so many places now to where if you don't like Medellin, you can go to Bogota. If you don't like Bogota, you can go to Mexico City. You don't like Mexico City, you can go to Brazil. You don't like Brazil, you can go to Thailand. And it's so many places now to where it's like, but I don't see nothing for Argentina. I don't think places. I feel like the boom of Medellin that happened post 2020, how fast it rose and fell, the same way with like Sosua. I don't see that happening again. I just don't. I don't see a place because Medellin after COVID, it rose and fell so quick and got overcrowded so quick. I just don't see that happening again.
Yeah, man. I mean, I personally like try to go to places without a bunch of Americans now, though, right? Once you know the lay of the land, like, why are you trying to go to places with a bunch of other people?
Well, I got to know about it first. Like that's the thing. I get my information from Americans,
Okay.
you know? So like my information, you American, you know the places,
Yeah.
right? So like that, I only do that to get my information. I'm not saying that like this is why I don't go to Mabs in Rio. I hate that place. But like they those people laid the groundwork for me to know, okay, this is where you go to Rio, this is where you go. I would have known about 4x4 if nobody ever went first.
Yeah. There's another place that I really liked in Rio that I've been to 4x4, but there's other place that I liked a lot better. Let me put people on some game for just a second. Um, Here, give me a second. Let me see if I can find this spot. I didn't. Oh, it's called Termas 502. Have you ever been there?
Okay. Now, where is that in the? I know they call all these places termas, but is that like in Lapa or something like that?
It's in
Oh,
Centro.
somebody said Centaurus. Yeah, I went there. That was a place they called Justin Bieber at.
Oh,
I
really?
think that place kind of fell off a little bit, but it stays open Saturday nights when 4x4 is closed.
Yeah. So like Lapa is like a specific area in Centro, but then there's like another area of Centro that's like more of like the central part, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
This is like in like the central part, you know.
Okay. See,
Um,
that's just the thing about Rio. Everybody says they love it, but they only stay close to the beach. It's like, bro, Rio, like Ipanema, Copacabana. Rio is a big, like does anybody do anything in the North Zone or Botafogo or any other places like that?
I tell people to stay in Flamingo. That's where I stay.
Oh, that's where the soccer team is?
No, the soccer team is actually in Leblon. They play in Maracana, but they're based in Leblon, and officially they're actually from Sao Gonçalo. But I've stayed in Copa, I've stayed in Flamingo, I've stayed in Centro. I've also spent 2 weeks in Niterói, which is across the bay. So yeah, I
Have you ever seen any wild stuff there?
like. What do you mean by wild stuff?
Like, have you ever seen anything like this? Is another thing. I know it's dangerous, but thank God I don't see the danger. Like, that's another thing about Brazil. And I know maybe that's a blessing, but for it to be as dangerous as it is, I don't ever see no dangerous stuff happen.
Yeah, I almost
I
got
see it in
killed one
Colombia.
time.
You said what?
I almost got killed one time, but besides that, you
Where were
know,
you at?
I was in Copacabana, but I was being an idiot, man. So like that was my fault. I'm not
Was
that.
it the dudes with the blonde hair? You know, be dyeing their hair blonde. I don't know what's up with that.
No. I like. I was just being an idiot, man. Like I was chasing after pussy that I shouldn't have chased after. Um, people say Leblon is the best and stick to the South Zone for safety. I find it really like one thing I find really funny. So I'm gonna make a tangent before I say this, but like one of the rules in my Discord, and if you want to join the Discord, the link is in my bio, is that you need to have gone to a place before you talk about it. I think that's very important. I don't want to listen to anybody's opinion about a places that they haven't actually fucking been to. And so a lot of people will say that one area of a city is better than another area, having not been to both areas. You know what I mean? Like they'll say the South Zone is better than Flamingo, but they've never spent time in Flamingo, right? So people who say that the South Zone, and by the way, I know that whoever said stick to the South Zone for safety has never actually been to Flamingo, because if you did, you would never make that fucking comment. That is an absolutely deranged comment to make. Everybody knows that all of the criminals, all of the pickpocketers, all of them hang out in Zona Sul. Nobody robs you in Flamingo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And another thing,
no,
another thing, they all go to the beach, so they got to walk through the South Zone to get to the beach.
exactly. So somebody said I've been to Flamingo. I I consider anything below Central as South Zone. Okay, maybe, but like that's not so. Zona Sul in Rio is specifically Copa, Ipanema, and Leblon. But anyway, Centra's
Okay.
just as dangerous as the beach areas. No, I don't think so. I spent a week in Centro. I don't think it's just as dangerous. And like you talk to other Brazilians in Rio de Janeiro, they don't think that Centro is just as dangerous. Like they don't talk about it in the same way. It's just not, like I was walking like whenever you walk through Zona Sul, and I think they're a little bit paranoid, but like whenever you walk through Zona Sul with an actual Brazilian, they'll tell you to keep your phone hidden. They don't tell you that in Centro. Um, Thoughts on Burma or Taiwan? I haven't been to either of those countries. But like somebody named Real Truth came on. Um, do you want to say anything, or what's up, man?
Hey, Paulie. Well, hey, bro. What's going on, man? It's an interesting conversation. I've spent like about 6 months in Brazil, and most 90% of it in Sao Paulo State, really. Um, I like Rio. I stayed just Copacabana. I didn't really venture off very much and all that. Sao Paulo. I mean, there's a lot of homos in Sao Paulo. I couldn't believe it. And Rua,
More than Rio?
Agostina, and last time I went, yeah, Paulista and Rua Agostana.
Yeah, I've been to Rua Augusta.
Pronouncing
That's where
it right.
Cass Road is.
Yeah, it's just like so many homos. That was about a year ago.
But one thing with
I don't
that,
like Sao
let's
Paulo
let's
City.
keep in mind that we're on TikTok, and they,
We call them rainbow people.
yeah, there's some speech that they just don't like, and I don't want my account to
I
get
don't know,
nuked.
bro. I thought Rio was like a circus, bro. It was rainbows and ghetto and coke snorting white women and animals everywhere. I was like, what is this place?
Okay.
And
Yeah,
I
maybe
don't
the
know.
time we went was
Like Sao Paulo to me is just bigger. I think the hotels are better. Like I stayed in the W in Sao Paulo, bro. Sao Paulo to me is nice.
I mean,
Like, Sao Paulo
I got
also-
robbed in Sao Paulo, but
Where?
dude, I was so pissed about this. So do you know where Peachy is?
No.
So I went to this Michelin star restaurant called Peachy, which fucking sucked, by the way. It's the worst Michelin star restaurant I've ever been to. And I was outside ordering an Uber, and I was drunk. I just drank like an entire bottle of wine because they didn't have like a wine pairing, so you had to like order. Which again, what type of Michelin star restaurant doesn't have a wine pairing? And so I was standing outside ordering an Uber, and like this kid biked up to me on a bicycle and like stole the phone out of my hand. And I was like so drunk that I just like stared at him and like laughed as he did it. And then I was like, haha, all right, give me my phone back. And I didn't realize like until like 35 seconds later that I was being robbed. I was,
Wow.
but
Yeah,
sorry, go.
I found Sao Paulo also be incredibly walkable. Like I stay over by like Villa Olympia, that's walkable. And like I would walk to go get my hair cut. I would walk to go get like donuts in the morning time. I found a nice little body tech gym over there. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm still now I've never taken public transportation and I don't think I ever will, but it just looked better. But I could be wrong.
My big problem with Sao Paulo, I mean, like as a place to like post up, I can definitely see it. But like for me, like it just like how do I say this? I I don't understand going to Brazil and not staying by the beach for me.
I got you.
Like it's just like
I mean Rio, I just can't figure it. I'll give Rio one more I need like an itinerary, bro. I will try to go to different place because I didn't even see no baddies there, bro. I didn't see a woman in Rio that was like, I have to come back for like I didn't see one that was like the best looking women I've ever. Now in Sao Paulo, I saw that. Now we all know where I went to go see it, but that's particular establishment that starts with an S.
yeah.
But I didn't see that in Rio, bro. I didn't see it.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I honestly think that like if you've been to Rio twice and you've done all the stuff that you've done, I obviously personally, I think that everyone should do a boat ride around the bay. I think that's like the most fun thing you can do. But like even so, like you can kind of picture what that is. It's not like a crazy experience that you need to live in order to get. Like I think you've experienced Rio. It just isn't for you. I think you need to go to other cities. You know what I mean? Like again, I'm a big believer that like different strokes for different folks. There's different stuff for different people. I have my preferences. Other people have their other preferences, right?
Maybe it's time to run Cartagena back, bro. I haven't been to Cartagena since like 2020, bro.
Yeah, you should go on a group trip March 16th.
I saw that you have it. I don't know if I can make the March 16th trip, but I wonder what has changed because when I was there was like delirium. Now I saw some girls in Cartagena that were, I don't know. I think Medellin and Cartagena. I still give Medellin the slight edge because they have La Isla. I don't know if you ever been to La Isla in Medellin. That's insane. And they also have Fase Dos, which is another spot.
Yeah.
The strip clubs in Medellin to me are just lit to me. But my issue with Medellin is occasionally I want to go do some Colombian stuff. Like I want to go see where they hang out at. And I feel like there's so many gringos in Medellin that they don't have a nightlife spot because walking through Parque Lleras and Provenza, like I just think that's kind of we've all walked by these little we've all been to like Don Diablo and La Chula Las Palmas is a spot you could go to, but I kind of want to try some Colombia, and I feel like Medellin is losing that flair a little bit.
Oh, well, it's lost. Cartagena. It's lost. It's lost in Medellin.
Yeah.
Medellin is 100% white people, and if there's a club, if there's an area of Colombians, they're not telling white people about it. You know what I mean? And they obviously like if you're mixed or black or like for them gringo just means American, right?
It just means American.
They don't make a racial distinction based off of it, but I'd recommend Cartagena. I'd recommend going to smaller cities in Colombia. One thing that we're planning on doing is to start making out trip packages to Cali. Because
I've been there. Now, let me tell you, Cali. So my friend, he's in the strip. He's starting to get in the strip club now, right? So like, but he's going to Brazil, and I'm like, Brazil strip clubs, it ain't really like. It's more just like scandalo.
Brazil's strip clubs aren't even strip clubs. They're just whorehouses.
Dude, I'm telling you this right now. The Colombian strip club, like, bro, these women put on a show, and you can take them home, bro. So, like, in Cali, I'm not gonna lie, Cali had the best strip club scene that was low key and it wasn't blown up versus any other place in Colombia. To me,
no, what
100%. Caleñas VIP. They had two of them there, one in the north, one in the south. Then they had a place called Deluxe. Then they had another place. I'm telling, like, bro, it was amazing. But the only thing about Cali is this: if you don't have that little, they got that little funny haircut with the little, where they don't cut the back of the hair and they grow it out. You ain't meeting no regular girls in Cali, bro. Like that's out of it. You better just pay to play because they so Colombian that you are. And the thing is this: it doesn't overlap, right? Like you can get a Dominican chick, it's some overlap, but Colombians, especially Cali, they're their own thing, and they like riding them horses, and they men that look like Ronaldo. Yeah. So if you don't look like Ronaldo, if you like I said, even if you mixed, you're cooked. I'm sorry. I think you're cooked in Cali. You'd be better off in Bogota.
Yeah, we might need to hire you to do our Cali trips for us.
Bro, Cali's. Have you been there?
I haven't been to Cali, but like that's where we're planning for our next spot because I think Medellin is cooked, and so I want to give people, obviously Cali and Medellin. I mean, I haven't been to Cali, so I don't know, but like honestly, Cali and Medellin are likely different experiences. We're trying to give people like a more urban Colombian experience.
Are you into any like looks max and stuff at all? Like dermatology, dental work. Oh, bro. Now, I feel like if you down there and you not improving your looks, oh, you tripping, bro. Because like another thing about Colombia is like I will never pay for dermatology products for my skincare or do anything with skincare unless I go to Colombia because it's so cheap and it's really good. And like Cali is actually the biggest place for medical tourism in Colombia. So like if you need anything done medically, I definitely suggest Cali.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So, what was I gonna say? I've been to Europe, man. I feel like you might like Europe if you like some more classiness.
Oh man, Europe. So the thing is this, right? Europe was like my introduction to this. I have a love-hate relate like London. So I think this. It's a dude in the comments. I think he light skinned, he mixed. You're gonna do very well in London. In fact, go to London, post your picture, and you're gonna have 100. As long as if you light skinned and you're not like, no offense, you're not obese, you probably gonna have 100 matches before the end of the week. Okay. But the thing about, I have a love relationship. I think girls in London are beautiful, but once again, they got to understand that America is a real place, okay? And America is a group of people, and you just can't be coming out your mouth talking all type of trash on America.
Bro, okay? There's some groups of people that I'll accept some trash talk from. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I'm guessing there are. I'm not going to allow any European to shit talk America,
but
especially
to me, they're the worst.
Especially not an English person. It's like, bro, we saved your ass in 2 world wars. Times. You are imprisoning grandmothers over Facebook comments, and by the way, gangs of Pakistani men are grooming your daughters. Your number one job as a man is to protect your daughter. You are ruining that. I have no respect for you as a country. I have no respect for you as a people. I have no respect for you as a man. And I have no problem beating the shit out of any English person that I know.
Yeah, but they're not. But England is basically a colony of America at this point. Okay.
Yeah.
They use all our stuff. They can't go a day. We can go a day without using anything from England.
If England
They
disappeared,
can't
we wouldn't. Nothing would change in my life.
even their credit card payments, the phones they use, like anytime they have to take any type of payment, it's you have to touch American stuff everywhere you go. And on top of that, we also protect you.
Yeah.
So like in terms of NATO. So it's a real thing. I had a friend, I want to go a little further east. I know you said you didn't like Poland. I want to try that out just to see what it's like.
Yeah, but like,
I don't know.
so
Eastern Europe like that.
My whole point with that is I just have a complex about Poland. That there's just like it's based on like where I come from. It's based on my childhood. I'm never gonna like Poland. Even if Poland became the best place in the world, I still wouldn't like it. You know what I mean? And so that's I just felt like you might have that same opinion with Rio, where you just kind of view it as ghetto, and you're just like I don't want that, right? But like honestly, if you went to Poland, you might enjoy it. Poland is a delightful place, to be honest. My wife is Venezuelan. She loves Poland. She adores Poland. She wants us to move to Poland, actually.
What are the girls in Eastern? What are they like?
Wait 1 second.
I met some girls that were Russian when I was in college, and they were cool. I mean, they were cool. They were real quiet. They were kind of cold looking. You know what I mean? They had that like stone face, but they were cool. What are they like? Just curious.
The problem with Eastern European girls is that they are very materialistic, and they are just like they're just incredibly cold. They're very materialistic and very cold. So like, you know, growing up in a family where your mother is I'm not trying to shit talk my mother. Like my mother, I think, is the nicest a Polish woman is able to be. But like growing up in like a Eastern European household is not like very conducive for like love and warmth as a child. You know what I mean? And it's a very harsh environment. And part of that's because Polish history is just so fucked, right? If you look at Polish history, Poland has one of the worst histories of any people ever, right? And so they're cold as a defense mechanism to that, right? But like it's like, look, we're not, fighting the Cossacks now. We're literally, in America. There's no reason to act this way. But that's kind of the problem that I have with Polish people. But there are a lot of people who like that. You know what I mean? So whatever floats your goat, man.
True. Well, yeah, man. Well, I just gave you a follow. I gave you a donation before. I'm glad to see you all here giving people advice. I gotta check out Cartagena. I hear Cartagena's got a decent strip club now too, and that's another thing. I've never done anything in Cartagena outside of like the old city. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what do these people do outside of this old city? Like, what is there to do? Where do they go to party at?
Come on the group trip and find out, man.
Okay.
No, I actually have a video that I put up on my YouTube. If you go to my bio, click on it, you'll go to my YouTube. Oh, I think it just dropped off. Frank, not today, but one day I will. Bro, like, what do you mean not today, one day I will? You keep on jumping on, talking shit, having these arguments. Just like, come on and have a conversation, bro. Why are you being such a bitch about this? Yo, what up, real
Paulie,
true?
Have you been to Floripa?
Yes.
I'm planning on going there next month. I'm trying to figure out Curitiba or Floripa, because I'm like you. I think the beaches in Brazil are second to none. That's more my vibe. But
have you been to Brazil before?
Well, I've spent like 6 months in Brazil. I've been
okay.
in Sao Paulo mostly. Sao Paulo State mostly, on the beach there in Guajab, and I've been in Rio. I've been up north, but I haven't been down south. I'm curious to check that out.
Yeah, dude, Floripa's chill. You'll enjoy it. Um, Floripa is kind of the Bali of South America, if that makes sense. Tintin asks Venezuela or Colombia, bro. I don't know how many times I have to answer this question. Like, don't go to Venezuela. How many times do I need to tell people this? Don't go to Venezuela. It's just not a place that people should go. Here, let me like look through this. Does the UK have strong Western American values? No, the UK right now is just a complete like cucked place. Um, let me see. Going up. So I'm trying to look up. Anyway, do you have any like specific questions? I don't really feel like talking about Brazil this whole time, so like let me see like are there any other questions? No, we're not going to talk about skincare. I don't like skincare. So for Venezuela, like when I say a 6 month wait for Venezuela, like I'm not saying um I'm not saying like book a flight today for 6 months from now. I'm saying wait 6 months, and if the situation improves, book a flight. But like like monitor the situation is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Any best place in Colombia? Yes, the Cartagena group trip. Fill out the form, link in bio. Um, what do you know about Pakistan? I've never been to Pakistan. I love to visit Pakistan. Um, so for 2 weeks in Brazil, should I do 10 days Rio for Sao Paulo? Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like a good trip. Um, you've been to Vietnam or the Philippines? Yeah, I've been to both Vietnam and the Philippines. I think that Vietnam is one of my favorite countries I've been to, but the Philippines is one of my least favorite countries I've been to. Did you ever have a relationship with a Latina woman who moved to America? I've never are you asking if I had a relationship with a Latina in Latin America who then moved to America, or did I have a relationship with a Latina in America? Um, while I still lived in the United States. Yeah, dude, I had relationships with Latinas. But the thing you have to realize about Latinas in America is they're not Latinas, they're Ameritinas. Where to go for pay for play if I'm bald at 25? I mean, here's the thing, man. Like the nice thing about pay for play is it doesn't matter if you're bald or not. Like you're paying, you know what I mean? Like who cares? They're not going to charge you more just because you're bald. Dude, you sure you don't have like 10 secret children? I might. Do you think Iraq is a good spot to passport bro now? I mean, you got to have huge balls to do it, but yeah, I mean, you could. The one thing I'd be scared of with Iraq is like if you fuck over some dude's sister and then he decides to kill you, like that's something you'd always like be afraid of. Wait, why is he ignoring my question? Here's the thing, man. If your questions suck, I'm not going to answer them. You know what I mean? Like if your questions are terrible, I'm not going to answer them. This question and answer period is not just for me to answer your questions, is for me to provide entertaining content to people and for your questions to be like jumping off points for the entertaining content. If you're not providing questions that are entertaining, I'm not going to answer them. And so somebody keeps on asking me Colombian or Brazilian women. That's a very uninteresting question to me. I'm not answering it. Sorry. Your question sucks. Get a better one. Why is the Philippines one of your unfavorites? I've answered this question a lot of times. I don't feel like going into it, but basically, the Philippines, um, all of the man-made structures are really ugly. So all the cities are really ugly. Nothing works. Um, it's just everything's really shitty. You know what I mean? You walk around, it's just a very shitty environment. And like I just don't like living in like shitty environments. Do you ever think of STDs or ever get a girl pregnant? No, man, I wear a condom. You're black, so I suggest Colombia unless you stay up north in Brazil. No, dude, it doesn't change anything, man. Like people have this conception that like black people can only date in areas with a lot of black people when the truth is like almost the exact opposite. Like um people who like the best places to passport bro are places that the people in that area do not resemble you. You know what I mean? Like if you're black, you want to go to places that there are a lot of like white people. If you're Asian, you want to go to places without a lot of Asian people, right? Those are always, the best, right? What do you think of Jakarta? I'm going next week. I haven't been to Jakarta. Monterey was fun last week. Why did you pick living in Brazil over Colombia? I don't live in either of those countries. Haven't been to any African countries. I've only been to Morocco and Egypt, and those aren't really technically African countries. So take that as you will. Morocco is my favorite one, though. Um, how did you like Bolivia? I think Bolivia is chill. I don't really love it so far, but I think it's fine. I kind of prefer Asuncion a little bit. Asuncion is a little bit more like built up and a little bit nicer. My experience is a lot different than yours in the Philippines, but I appreciate your honesty. Like, here's the thing though, right? Like, we can disagree about whether we like the Philippines, but we can't disagree about the facts. On my TikTok, yeah, Peru is amazing. Um, can you tell us about Vietnam? Ask me something specific, man. Have I been to the Balkans? Yeah, I've been to Montenegro, I've been to Croatia, and I've been to Albania. Um, so I mean, so I've been to all of those countries. The nice thing about the Balkans is that like the Dalmatian coast is probably like the most beautiful place on planet Earth. Um, the bad thing about the Balkans is that like it's a little bit like it's a little bit too expensive for you get. Um, were the girls in Morocco hot? Yes. Venezuela is a good trip right now, bro. Seriously. Didn't Argentina delete most of their black population? No, not really. That's like a real oversimplification of like what happened in Argentina. I made a video where I talk about it, but basically, like, yes, the Argentina had a bunch of wars where they primarily had black people fighting, but then what happened after that was they had a lot of European migration. Like the population of Argentina, like multiplied by 5 within like 30 years. And then on top of that, like one of the big differences between like one of the reasons why it seems like Argentina got rid of this black population is that their racial classification is kind of the opposite as like America's. Where like in America, if you have we had what's historically called the one drop rule, where if you have one drop of African blood, you're considered African, right? In Argentina, they have just basically like what do you identify as type of rule, right? So like if you are like a quarter black in Argentina, but like you pass as white and you hang out with white people and you live in a white area, you're considered white. So it wasn't really like they deleted their black population. It's more of like, you know, a bunch of different factors caused them to have most of their people identify as white. Is my video lagging for everybody? I feel like most US citizens will not be able to travel in Latin America. Like, why do you think that? Um, bro, I want to go to USA. What's the best way for chill feminine girls? Bro, this entire channel, it's always crazy when people go to a channel of a dude whose entire shtick is that guys need to leave the United States, and they're like, "Yo, dude, where in the United States should I go to?" It's like, what? What did the CIA do to Argentina? The CIA did a lot of good things to Argentina. Doesn't it snow there? What did the CIA do to Argentina? Okay. Um, am I still planning on moving to Venezuela? Um, so we're definitely gonna move to Venezuela eventually. We were kind of hoping to move to Venezuela in like a month or so, but that ended up not being like a good idea. But like eventually, you know, bro has no experience in the USA. What are you talking about, bro? I've lived in the USA for 33 years. Heard they made it racist. Are you saying America made Argentina racist? This is the thing, man. Is that like liberals have this like really weird conception of the world where it's just like the CIA made Argentina racist. Like just just putting aside the historic aspects of it. That's such a ridiculous comment to make. Especially because the Blanquiamento policy, which was an explicitly race-based immigration policy, which is the reason why Argentina is so white today, that was made in 1860. And if I remember correctly, the CIA was founded in 1947. So almost 100 years later. Current situation aside, what's better, Venezuela or Colombia? I mean, it's kind of hard to do like an opinion on the current situation for Venezuela and Colombia, like putting the current situation aside, because the the current situation has been going on for like 10 years now. You know what I mean? So it's like, how can you really do like current situation aside, right? Argentina didn't have that many Africans, so that's so yes and no. So here's the thing, right? About 30% of Argentina's population was black in the year 1800, but it's that's really not a um indicative statement because Argentina's population like 6x between 1880 and like 1930. So like, it's not, you know, you can't really extrapolate anything off of that, right? Or let me just say this: Argentina in 1930 was a radically different place than Argentina in 1850, right? So like, it's basically a different country, right? It's basically like the United Kingdom in 2026 versus the United Kingdom in 1980. They're just different countries, right? And so, you know, so like as in terms of percentage, yes, there was a huge black population, but in terms of absolute number, once you swarm the country with so many Europeans, it's not that much. What's the best place you lived in your experience? Um, Asuncion, Paraguay was amazing, but Asuncion, Paraguay doesn't really exist anymore in the way that it existed when I lived there. That's one of the problems with like passport broing in general is that because there's so many passport bros going around, like places change very dramatically. My brother was actually in Asuncion 6 years ago, and he came over for Christmas, and he was like, "This is a completely different city." And it changed a lot in a year. Like it changed so much more in 6 years. So it's very hard to tell one specific place. What I would say is just like look for a place that's kind of on the uptick, but like hasn't been swarmed with Americans yet. And that's going to be like the place that you should go to. Also, generally, it's better to live in Asia. Like, if you don't have a specific reason not to live in Asia, you should live in Asia. I was only in Vietnam for a week, so I can't really give like a favorite city or something. I don't know if you really feel comfortable doing that, but I was in Da Nang, and Da Nang was pretty dope. So I highly recommend going to Da Nang in Vietnam. I'm 52. Met a black Bogota woman, 34, 3 years ago in Colombia. Spain, DR every 6 weeks now. I don't know what that like what like what do you want from me is my question from that. I've never been to Belize. Is Brazil similar to Colombia? No, I mean they're two completely different places. Um Brazil and Colombia are two different very different places. I mean like one thing you have to remember about Brazil in general is that like Brazil is half a continent, right? Brazil is half a continent. And it's a very diverse place just by itself, right? Like there are bigger differences between different cities in Brazil than there are between Brazilian cities and foreign cities, right? So take a city like Curitiba, right? Curitiba has more in common with like Buenos Aires than it does with like Sao Luis. You know what I mean? Or like, Porto Alegre. Porto Alegre definitely has more in common with like Montevideo than it does with like Fortaleza. You know what I mean? Like, um, so Brazil is a very big place. Colombia is a much more homogenous place, to be honest with you. Like you walk around Colombia, and I mean, I made a lot of videos about the ethnic differences of Colombia, and they certainly exist, but they do not hit you over the head the way that they do in Brazil. You walk around Colombia, and it's like every girl is 5'2". They're all named Maria. They all have like slightly brown skin, B cups, a big ass. You know what I mean? That's every Colombian girl, right? Um, Top 3 favorite countries and cities in those countries. Um, right now, if I were to recommend 3 countries for people to go to, number 1 would be Vietnam, and as I said, the number 1 city in Vietnam would be Da Nang. Number 2 would be Japan, and the number 1 city in Japan is obviously, like, Tokyo. Number 3 would be kind of hard right now. Number 3 would probably be, like, it'd be, like, Morocco. I would recommend people go to Marrakesh. The pronunciations are killing me. Which pronunciations are killing you? Has this man been to Okay, but, like, tell me which pronunciations specifically are killing you. Afro Colombians apparently don't exist. Dude, this is the thing that, like, is so annoying about these chats, right? It's just like, you know, oh my god, these people are so fucking annoying. You don't realize how much people hate you. Like, Dan Nee, you don't realize that you're the reason why people hate you so much. It's difficult to describe how much people hate you. Like, one of the problems I think with travel is that most of the time, at least for the longest time before the passport bro movement started, most of the people that you interacted with who traveled are people like Danny, who are like very rich and privileged kids from like the Upper East Side of New York City, whose parents brought them on vacations to Europe. And so they don't travel because they like to travel. They use travel as a way to hector you and as a way to show their superiority over you. Right? There's a whole group of people who use travel not as a way, and this is what a lot of Pokemon travelers do also. There are a lot of people who use travel as a way to show their superiority over other people. This is why you have Pokemon travelers. Pokemon travelers are people who want to say, I've been to all of these places, I've done all of these things in all these places, and you haven't. So I'm better than you because I've been to 112 countries and you've only been to 34. Na, 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 na. I'm so much better than you. And the reason why these people are so annoying is because it's like you don't realize that by you being so wrapped up in your specific conception of what it means to travel is you're actually losing out on the beautiful part of traveling. You're not traveling. You're having this experience where all you're trying to do is to try to prove that you're better than other people when really you should just be focused on making yourself happier, not proving to me that you're smarter than me because you pronounce I pronounce it Barranquilla and you pronounce it Barranquilla, right? Like, who cares, man? Who cares? So yes, like, Afro Latinas exist, Afro Colombianas exist, but like 95% of Colombians kind of look the same. That's just true. It is. Sorry. I was gonna make one more point about that, but I forgot what it was. Bro, it's not a meltdown. The the entire point of this live. Let me just clarify this for people, right? The entire point of this live is for me is so the reason for these questions, right, is for me to go on rants that people on this live find interesting, right? The point of those rants is to do two things. One, to get you to sign up for this Cartagena group package. And two, for me tomorrow morning to go through all of these rants, clip the ones that I find most interesting, and then post them on my TikTok so I don't have to spend as much time writing down original content, right? People find my meltdowns funny and interesting way more than me like calmly explaining my 5 favorite gastropubs, right? So like you didn't trigger a meltdown. What you did was you helped me make a clip that's going to go viral on TikTok, that's going to help me sell my Cartagena packages, and is going to help me make money off of the video's monetization. You just made me like $5,000-6,000, Danny. So you didn't trigger a meltdown. You made me money. That's what these trolls don't understand. It's literally the trolling that helps me the most. Anyway, let me go through this. Um, I'm from rural North Carolina, dude. But here's the thing: like, you're a pretentious person from rural North Carolina who hates the fact that everyone looks down on you for being from rural North Carolina. So you constantly try to prove to people about how well cultured and well traveled you are by traveling. Is that not exactly what you're doing? Yes, exactly. So he says, correct. I married my Cartagena spouse to show my superiority over you. Exactly. You moved abroad. You married a Colombiana to show your superiority over other people. Um. Anyway, let me see. Um. People are very diverse, saying everyone is Morena is wild. I mean, this is like another annoying thing that like a lot of like pretentious people and like I don't want to say leftists because like there's some pretentious right wingers to do it, but like leftists do a version of this that's annoying, which is like you'll say something where you're like, you know, Asians are shorter than Caucasians, and they'll be like, "What do you mean? Yao Ming is really tall. Yao Ming is taller than most white people." And you're like, "Yeah, I'm talking about like the majority of Asians are generally shorter than the majority of white people." Well, yeah, but like Yao Ming is taller. It's like, bro, um, going to Malaysia. Well, how do you know New York? I'm from New York. Um, there are a lot of questions. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Thank man. Men are not lonely enough. Lord have mercy. What does that even mean, dude? You're the bro who moved to Cartagena and married a Colombiana. Why are you saying that other men need to be lonelier? I put you on Cordoba. Thanks. You're welcome, bro. You're a gentleman and a scholar. I appreciate that. Um, Heading to Malaysia for a month. Nice, dude. Um, yeah, dude, Malaysia. He's flirting with you, dude. Malaysia is one of my favorite places. Like, sadly, I'm not really in a place right now in my life where I can really like travel as much as I want to. But like, um, no, for real, I was in Medellin and I like this place way better. Seriously, thank you. Yeah, dude. I mean, Medellin is cooked. Um, but yeah, Malaysia's a real hidden gem. I highly recommend it. It's Muslim, which I think is the reason why a lot of people kind of like stay away from it. But it's really cheap, really beautiful. I don't know about the dating scene because I went with my wife, but yeah, I can't recommend Malaysia more. Kuala Lumpur is one of my favorite cities on planet Earth. You even thought about going to China. I spent a few days in China. I would love to go to China, spend more time there. Um, I'm afraid of going to China though, because of how nice I'm sure it is and how pissed I'll be about it. This is one of the big problems of going to East Asia is is how nice East Asia is in comparison to the US. and you walk around these East Asian cities and you just get so furious. You get so furious that East Asia is so nice and your cities back home in America are so terrible. Like you walk around Seoul and you're like, why is Seoul so clean, so beautiful? Why is everyone so respectful? Why does the public transport work? Why can I just like leave my stuff here and no one steals it? Why don't I have to worry about being robbed? Like so many incredible things that just like are day to day, benefits of being in East Asia that you just don't have in America. So I'm afraid of going to China for that reason because I'm afraid of like going to China and just be like, wow, China already won. You know, I honestly got that sense living in Korea of all places. Like, going to Korea, going to Singapore, going to Tokyo. I was just like, man, people say that America is the world hegemon, and we could obviously still like kill and kidnap anybody who we want around the world, but like I think China is clearly the global superpower. And once you go to China and you compare it to like New York City, or like once you go to like Asia and compare it to New York City, it's just laughable. Seoul is clean. Um, isn't Cartagena by Venezuela? Yeah, but you'll be fine. Where did you meet my wife? I met my wife in Paraguay. What country have gotten the most attention from women? Probably Cambodia. Cambodia, my phone actually overheated because I got so many matches. Yeah, I mean, America's military is still the best, but you have to ask yourself realistically, how does the fact that our military is so good actually help you on a day-to-day basis? You know what I mean? Like if you're in LA or you're in San Francisco and you're stepping over a drugged out homeless person on your way to work, you're going on a bus and you're sitting in piss, which actually happened to me before. You're like, you have dog shit all around. You have, homeless meth addicts harassing people. If you want to buy something from the store, you have to go like, you have to like go to get stuff behind glass. Like all of this stuff is just like why like okay, like our military is better. I agree with you, but like is actual quality of life of Americans better? Um Pattaya is where the action's at. Yeah, if you're Indian. I heard Thailand is expensive now. So I wouldn't call Thailand expensive. I would more say that like so there are different levels of expensiveness, right? Like there is, there's places like Singapore where like you're like, okay, I'm going to spend money. There's no way to visit Singapore and not spend money, or like Monaco, right? You're going to spend money, right? Then there's like so that's expensive, right? And then there is like not as expensive as you thought it would be, which is a place like Paris and like Tokyo. Paris and Tokyo, the flights and the hotels are really expensive, but like actually the city itself is not that expensive. And you can actually, besides the hotels, you can stay in Paris pretty cheaply if you want. And then there's another tier below that, which is what I would call expensive, which what I call cheap if you try, right? Which is a place where like you have to put in, if you put in a little bit of effort, and just a little bit of effort, I mean a minuscule amount of effort, but you still have to dedicate the mental energy to it. But if you put in a little bit of effort in, you can live very cheaply. and that's Thailand, right? And then below that, which is what people confuse it with, is the expensive if you try, which are places that in order to spend money, you have to actively try to spend money. These are places where you literally have to seek out expensive activities for the sake of spending money in order to spend money. These are places like Kuala Lumpur is one of those places, right? Where you actually have to try to spend money in Kuala Lumpur. Da Nang, Vietnam is one of those places. Like, if you want to spend money in Da Nang, you have to actually be committed and like try to spend money in Da Nang. Vietnam is one of those places where, like, if you are a little bit um uncaring for a few days and uncareful, you can find yourself spending a lot of money. But if you know what places to avoid and you know what places to go to, you can live very cheaply for a while. Vietnam or Thailand in 2026? Vietnam. Solar Tokyo, Tokyo. I've never been anywhere. Yeah, I've never been anywhere. But I thought we didn't allow US slander. I'm not slandering the United States. I'm just talking honestly about it. And he here's the thing about USA slander. And this is true of so many things, and this is not my position about these types of things. Like, I allow people who are in my group to talk shit about the group. I do not allow people who are outside the group to talk shit about the group. I don't allow a British person to talk shit about America. But an American, 100%. I'm Guys, in case you didn't know, I'm 100% pretending. How come you didn't stay in Cambodia since the women were flooding your phone? A lot of complicated reasons. Mad hate towards the cities that fund the country. Bro, I lived in those cities. The thing that made me hate the left in America was spending 7 years in California. Paul in the house. How do you not get scammed by fake interested women abroad? Just got to keep your guard up, bro. Did you have a wife in America? No. Have I been to these places? Not at all. I haven't traveled at all. So I'm just catching up on questions. I'm trying to find like a. Imagine California that left us, bro. It would be paradise. What's the target date for the Cartagena group trip? The target date is March 16th to 22nd. We have one spot left. So our initial plan with the Cartagena group trip, to be honest with you, was to do like 3 or 4 so basically, so people know, we basically have 2 different types of group trips that are happening. One is like a we're gonna come up with different we're gonna have to come up with names for these. One is like the public group trip, and that's basically like, if you're a solo traveler and you don't have a group together, you can come to this trip, right? So we have 10 slots. We have a 10-room mansion, and you come down and you slot into the group, right? You meet people, all that type of stuff. The second one is like, if you already have a group of like 6 or 7 people together, we'll plan out your trip for you. We were originally planning on having like 3 or 4 of the first trip per month, and then maybe having like 1 or 2 of like the custom trip packages per month. The problem is that just the effort that we put in to the big trips and the is and the money that we get back is just not really worth it, to be honest with you. Honestly, I just get so many fucking bums who text me about this group trip who very clearly do not have the money to go, but like want to feel special. Like, oh, I'm planning a trip. It's like you're not planning a trip. You have no intention of planning a trip. You're just a little fucking bitch. Anyway, so I have so many of those people like wasting my time. Like the reason why I became a full-time TikToker is to not spend my time on shit that I don't want to spend my time on. So anyway, we decided that what we're gonna do, at least for now, is we're only gonna do one of the of the general admission group trips per month. And if people want to sign up, they can. And the group trips that we're gonna be focusing on are the ones where it's like, let's plan a group trip for you. Because those people are honestly like a lot more fun to deal with anyway. Like with the group trip with like 10 people, I have so many people who are just like, oh, I don't know. We were dealing with this guy this weekend. It was just like, yeah, man, oh, I need to pay a $2,000 deposit. Here you go. I don't like to sell stuff to broke people, to be honest with you. What's my TikTok revenue growth plan? No worries, that's too personal. Just curious. Yeah, dude, no worries. So on TikTok right now, just off of ad revenue, I make probably around $2,000 to $3,000 a month. On the group trips, so our goal is to get to 2 custom group trips and 1 general admission group trip per month, which would be a pretty good amount of money for me. I don't want to give up the exact amount of money that we make off of that, but it'd be a pretty good amount of money for me. Um, and then to do that for a while, and then while we're doing that, I am also going to build out group trip packages in other locations. So I have people in Europe who can do group trip packages. I have people in Asia who can do group trip packages. So we're going to start building those out together. Once I have all of those running, I'm going to create like a company that's like like a travel advisory company or something like that. Just start to build that out, try to make that go on autopilot. Um, and then I think that like concurrently what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build out my YouTube and my X. By the way, we have 51 people on here. I only have 50 followers on X. Can all of you guys please just go to my X and follow me? I'm trying to grow my X account. I'm trying to grow my Facebook account. Can you guys please subscribe to those? Anyway, so while I'm doing that, I'm kind of just viewing that as a way to like stay alive. My plan is to build out YouTube and X and Facebook to make those into revenue streams. Then, once I'm able to do that, my goal is to take the group trip thing and then just kind of put that on autopilot and kind of act more of like as a marketer for it than actually like as an executive. And I'll probably hand the reins over to my business partner. And then I want to focus mainly on my channels. My whole goal is to do as little work as possible. We're planning on having a kid soon, and I want to spend all my time with my child. I don't want to spend time doing anything else. So I want to just kind of get enough. I want to do minimal work to promote these trips, get the money from Brandon, and then get some money from ad revenue. Put the X and Facebook links higher in my link tree. That's a good point. Followed you on X. Thanks, man. What do you mean ad revenue? So people so if you get once you get more than 10,000 followers on TikTok, TikTok pays you for video views. So right now I'm at a place where I get about 2,000 a month. 10 people trip, what's the cost? So if you do a custom trip with 10 people, it's going to be about $1,400 per person. Um, so it's about $14,000 for 10 people. But again, a lot of that's contingent on what you want to do, right? If you want to go to the general admission 10-person trip, it's 1250. Okay, yeah, so you're asking for that. So the group trip is 1250. The price for one dude coming from California for the group trip is 1250. Do I have plugs out there? Yes, we have plugs. And actually, let's just say we're gonna have a lot of leftover stuff. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, dude. 12. We actually think that we're like probably so we kind of did the back. We kind of like reverse engineered the math on um a lot of our competitors, and we are like way more reasonable than everyone else. Um, Follower 57, appreciate. Thanks everyone for following me on X. I really appreciate that. What is the pay threshold? It's not a pay threshold, it's a follower threshold. Even in Latam, or just set that up when we were in the USA getting paid by TikTok. Um, I set up my TikTok when I was in Poland. It doesn't matter based on geography. It matters based upon well, the geography of your viewers matters a lot, but like where you are currently doesn't affect whether or not you get paid. Social media income is not sustainable. Yeah, that's why my plan is to get regular money from the group trips once that business is built, and then get a stream of income from social media also. What do you do on these trips? So the Cartagena trip, this is the reason why I made this the first trip, is the Cartagena trip is literally just be boats and hose. It's gonna be all boats and hose. You're gonna love it. Will you want your kid to be born in the USA? My kid is not gonna be born in the USA. My kid is gonna be born in Argentina, most likely, which is fine. Like, here's the thing, like, right now, you don't there's no actual, like, real benefit to being born in the United States anymore. Like, as an American, I think you actually get a punishment for being born in the United States versus, being born somewhere else. So, like, I don't actually think that, you know if you think about what it's gonna look like in 50 years, I think it's be even more like screwed up to be an American citizen. So, anyway, sorry, I just wanted to check what my X followers were. I appreciate everyone following me on X. Your kid will still have US citizenship anyway. Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking about like once my kids are born, I'm considering renouncing US citizenship, but that would be like a whole other thing. Just because I don't want to pay the taxes. Paulie spitting facts. I don't want to pay the taxes forever. America has insane taxes. And you have to pay American taxes whether you live in America or not. Where will the power that be on the new world in 50 years? Well, if you want to go back, well, I mean, that's why I haven't done it already. I'm trying to decide. I'm trying to decide if I want to do it or not. It's gonna take a while to decide. So, um, where the power would be in 50 years? I think in 50 years, China is gonna be the world superpower. It's not gonna be. It's not even gonna be close. Like, you look at the way they're do. I did this rant earlier, but like you look at the way they do things, they conduct themselves in in East Asia, like it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's hard to fathom how different and better things are in East Asia versus in the United States. Like you walk around Japan and you're just like visibly angry constantly because you're like, why aren't there homeless people on the ground masturbating? There are in America, you know. So here, let me guys show you a picture, and this really pissed me off. This really lit a fuse under me. Here, I'm gonna pull it up in a second. Um, Paraguay is getting way too expensive, though. Like we're moving to Argentina in February, and so I think we're just gonna like live in Argentina and become like Argentinians. I mean, Argentina is also like the whitest country on earth. Argentina is more European than Europe now. So like if you like Europe and you like want to live in Europe, you should just live in Argentina. So, there's that also. Um Here, let me show you this picture. So I have these two pictures. Um okay. So here let me show you this picture. I'm not gonna do this on all the streams just because I don't have enough people on those other streams for it. But here, let me. All right. So this is a thing called the Singapore Sports Hub. Um, okay, so I'll answer those questions in a second. So this is the Singapore Sports Hub, right? So Singapore Sports Hub is literally like a giant arena. It looks like Giant Stadium or something in the middle of Singapore, and it's literally the only purpose of it is to be a public space for people in Singapore to like play sports. And I'm pretty sure it's free, right? I'm pretty sure this place is free, right? So you look at it, this is it from across the river, right? I'm pretty sure this place is free. And so you look at this place and you're like, why is it that the government of Singapore builds all of this incredible stuff for its citizens? And then you live in America and all the money gets stolen by Somalians or gets used on Israel's wars or gets stolen by these other NGOs or gets stolen by these other people. And it's like, imagine what America would look like if we had actually spent all of our money on our citizens. Fucking sucks. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this rant alone. Yo, Chris Lipinski's here. Where's Chris Lipinski? Did I just imagine that? What did Chris Lipinski say? Chris Lipinski is the Korea expert. Is he here still? Yo, Chris, put a message here. Did someone delete it? Anyway, I'll catch up in a second. Yo, Paulie. Okay, I'm not responding to that. How's it with the white Brazilian girls? So someone asked about like South Brazil. South Brazil is basically Argentina. So you have to realize in South America, if you basically take Paraguay, South Brazil, Argentina, and southern Chile, all of those together is an area that's referred to as the Southern Cone, and that's kind of one giant region. Yeah, I'm gonna text Crystal Pensky if he was on this live. Um, come, uh, yeah, I'm trying to get Crystal Pensky back on. You guys will love Crystal Pensky. Chris is my boy, man. Chris, don't say anything. Don't or did. Um, China doesn't want to get involved in international politics. Okay. Um. Anyway, sorry. I'm trying to get Chris Lipensky on here. Chris Lipensky really knows a lot about Korea. Ah, yo, guys, you guys are about to get a treat. Chris Lipensky's about to come on. Chris Lipensky knows so much about Korea. Uh, yeah, I might get VJ out here too. That'd be hilarious. Sorry, I'm going on a rant. Anyway, so South Brazil and Argentina. South Brazil and Argentina are like the same place. The money Somalis made was wild. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean Argentina's improving quickly, but here's the thing, man. Like, would you rather like I don't really care about the economy anymore. Like I think so much of our lives we've been told that quality of life boils down to the GDP per capita of your country. And it's like I've traveled so many places in the world now that I just find that to be so fundamentally untrue. And even places in poor parts of the world don't even understand how that's understand the truth of that. But I find so many people in poor areas who are so much happier than people who are living in richer areas. There's so much more to life than just GDP per capita. And who really cares how poor it is? Like, we have gone past, for the most part as a society, we have gone past real poverty. Real poverty doesn't really exist in most parts of the world anymore. Like, like poverty where like you don't have food, poverty where you don't have basic necessities. You go to a lot of like poor areas in the world. And I mean, I don't really know about Africa, so I'm not talking about Africa or like Central Asia. I'm talking about like Southeast Asia, East Asia. Like poverty for a lot of people just means like your house is shitty and your iPhone is shitty. But most of them still have phones. Most of them still have smartphones. Most of them still have smart devices and all that type of stuff. Most of them have cars. Most of them have transportation. Most of them eat out. There are poor people in. Think about this. There are poor people in the Philippines, like really poor people in the Philippines today, who eat out at restaurants more times per week than you do. And you can do your cope like, oh, my restaurant food is better, my house is nicer. Yeah, your house is probably nicer than theirs, but they go out to eat more than you do. They spend more time on the beach than you do. They spend more time with their family than you do. They have less stress than you do. They're actually having children and you're not. So who's really richer is my question. And I don't think the answer is automatically you. Um anyway. South America is still quite bad compared to Europe and the USA, though. So kind of like the decline from that point just be embarrassing, really. What are you talking about? What are you talking about that South America is still quite bad compared to Europe and the USA, though? Have you been to South America, Jonathan Doe? Have you been? Have you actually been to South America? What the fuck are you talking about? South America is bad in comparison to Europe. I would much rather, I would feel way safer, even in Rio de Janeiro, than I would in like Italy, like Rome. Are you kidding me? Well, okay, it'll be 50K in a remote job in Colombia, 100%. There's a vibe of decline in Europe and the US. The vibes in SA and in Asia are optimistic, 100%. I would say I'm much more optimistic about Asia increasing than I am about South America. It's not better on average in America, European, and East Asia, Jonathan Doe. It's very clear that you have no idea what you're talking about. London is safer than Latam. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Maybe because your name is Hamza and you're the reason why London sucks now. Wait, this is this is the thing that I find so funny about the internet is that Jonathan Doe is in here in a travel TikTok arguing with me, somebody who has spent the past 3 years living abroad, that South America that Europe is nicer than South America. And again, it was somebody named with John Calvin, who's been living in South America now for years, is married in South America and is living in South America. He's arguing with us that South America is in a worse shape than America and Europe, having not been to any of these places. This is the internet for you. You might be surprised by the Southern Cone. It's like Europe. The Southern Cone is way better, is way nicer than Europe. Can a solo 60 go on the trip to Cartagena? Yes. Based and bro, what? I'm guessing that's to the Hamza comment. But in general, people live way better in the USA and Europe. No, they don't. What are you talking about? And you're basing this off of statistics that you read online, not based on actually going to the places and talking to people and observing their quality of life. How old is too old based off the comment? That's true. That is true. Honestly, man, like I have such contempt for what happened to the UK that I just don't even have a filter with it anymore, if I'm gonna be completely honest. Hollywood makes South America look bad. Yeah, the most pernicious part about it is that they get a bunch of Latinos who have never actually lived in Latin America, but whose parents came from Latin America to make movies about how shitty Latin America is for US audiences. But they never actually like have been there. What country would I want to retire in? Vietnam. Which country in South America do you think has the best cuisine? People have heard me answer this enough times. Can someone answer this in the comments? I want to see if someone can answer this in the comments. So is Santiago, Chile worth visiting, and where else would you recommend in Chile? Puerto Montt looks cool. I think one thing that's really important to realize when you're talking about other countries is that, like, so we tend to think of America, or we tend to think of our own places as these like really diverse, interesting places where each place is different and has its own special characteristics. And then we think of foreign countries as these like one characteristic, right? Like we think of like, Japan is just Tokyo, Thailand is just the beach, right? And you have to realize that like foreign countries are very different, right? Like I mean, obviously some of them like Monaco is obviously just Monaco. Um, but other places are like Monte Carlo, Montego. I think Monte Carlo is literally just the city that is Monaco, but like most countries are pretty diverse, right? And Chile is definitely one of them. It's like so long, right? And Puerto Montt, you know the south of South America is like what's called like the lake area. I mean, obviously, like Patagonia, it's gorgeous. um but it's very different from Santiago. Have I found any South American stereotypes to be true? I found a lot of South American stereotypes to be true, to be honest with you. Peru, thank you. Thanks, guys, for answering that one. Um, Let me see. Good first trip outside the USA. I'd recommend someplace like either Costa Rica or Thailand. Didn't expect to get so much backlash, bro. We are an England hate organization here. We are a hate organization. We hate what happened to England. I think it's one of the biggest crimes that we've witnessed in our generation. There are a lot of, let me just say this, right? There are a lot of things in my community that I'm like, I'm willing to not open up, that can of worms. I'm willing to not have conversations. A lot of political stuff, I'm willing to not have conversations about that. A lot of people will tell me don't talk about politics on here, which I think is a little funny because like the whole passport bro movement is inherently political if you think about it. But I'm not. That's neither here nor there. But anyway, so I'm willing to just have a lot of disagreements that we don't talk about. The fact that England is a shithole is not one of those disagreements. Obviously, you're still allowed on here if you disagree with me on that. I'm welcome dissenters, but I will call you out on it, and I will call you out on it vociferously. England is a shithole, and anybody who participated in the shittiness of England should be ashamed of themselves. Um, my lady's in Patagonia right now. Nice, dude. Why aren't you with your lady? Many European countries and cities. Yeah, here's what I'll say about the other European countries and cities. Germany's basically lost. Germany is kind of where England is at right now. They're just like 5 years behind. But like I actually like the Danish are pushing back on it. The Swedes are pushing back on it. Italy, Georgia Maloney has been a complete like shapeshifter. she ran as an anti-immigrant person, but she's been allowing all these refugees in. But the thing is, the Italian people still voted for that, right? So you could have a situation where they kick her out and vote in somebody else. Um, you have the French elections this year, and Marine Le Pen isn't allowed to run, but like her stand-in is running, and he could win. Here's the thing about the French people. The French people have a lot of pride. They have a lot of pride about their culture, and I don't think the French are gonna take it lying down the way that the British people did. So I'm hoping. I don't think all of Europe is lost, though. I don't think all of Europe is lost. I think just England so far is lost. But we are hoping. Um, will the Eastern European nations continue to preserve their identity and culture? No. No, all these right wingers fetishize Poland, but I can tell you, as somebody who, I mean, I'm Polish. I spent 3 months in Poland last year. I spent a month in Poland the year before. Poland is cooked. Poland is not where France and Germany are right now, but Poland is where France and Germany were like 20 years ago. And so in 15, 20 years, Poland is going to look like France and Germany. Um, France is already cooked. That's fair. Asians only make 5% of the UK population. What percent of the UK population is ethnically Asian? That's not true. That can't be true. So since 2021, it's been 10%. But you have to realize how much immigration has happened in the past 5 years. Poland could so here's the problem, right? People say 17% seems fair. So Juggernaut, are you Asian? Are you Indian? I'm pretty sure you are. Cuz here's the thing, right? I have a friend. I have a friend who is Indian, right? And we had this conversation, and he's a good friend of mine. I'm not trashing him at all, but he was like, oh, Canada is only 10% Indian or something like that, as if like it's taken for granted that every country should be at least 15 to 20% Indian. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's Canada. It should be majority Canada. You know what I mean? It should be majority Canadian. It should be majority ethnically Canadian, right? That's my opinion on it, right? It should be, and England should be majority, the vast majority should be ethnically English. It's my opinion on it. Do I think the UK is savable? No. 0%. Anyway, so somebody said Poland controls their borders. Like, yes, they technically control their borders, but they're letting everybody in. So, like, yeah, they're controlling their borders, but like they're allowing people, they're just allowing everyone in. So let me see. Tin fish and tea. I can't really talk about that. Let's just saying. Like here's was it Poland pewing illegal border crossings? Yes, but they're allowing so many legal border crossings. You know what I mean? Um. Anyway, I like that. Anyway, there's somebody said something. Oh, yeah. I mean, he here's okay. So here's the funniest thing, right? So Indians a lot of time will be like, "You're racist for not wanting Indians in your country and not wanting your country to turn into India," and you're like, "But aren't you the one that's leaving India?" Like you're going to a group of people who don't live in India and you're saying, "Hey, can I live with you?" And they're like, "No, we're afraid you're going to turn our country into India." And you're like, "How dare you not want to live in India?" And we're like, "Bro, you're the one leaving India. You're the one who doesn't want to live in India." Like, am I wrong here? If anybody is racist towards Indians, it is the Indian people who are leaving India. Those are the people who are actively racist against Indians. Those are the people who are actively making the decision to not want to live around Indians. The rest of us just made the decision to make our own countries as good as we can make them. You're the ones who proactively make the decision to not live around Indians. And we're the ones, all we're saying, is yes, we agree with you. We agree with you. India sucks. Yes, Indian person who wants to move to America, I agree with you. India sucks. And that's why we don't want our country to turn into India. Stop debating with them. Your country's not up for debate. 100%. Um, yeah, dude, India sucks, man. They have a big population, though. Great. What do you think about assimilation? Look, man, I mean, I think every country has the right to define their country however they want. If you want to be and this is one thing I really learned from traveling abroad is like when you grow up in a country, you kind of have this idea, whichever country it is. When you grow up in a country, you kind of have this idea that you're right and everyone else in the world is wrong. And so your way of thinking about things is just, the God-given correct answer, and everyone else's answer about things are wrong. And then you go to other countries and you're like, oh man, they do things differently here, and it seems to work pretty well, right? And it's a whole different bunch of answers, right? And so my feeling about like assimilation, all that type of stuff is like every country, I think, should be allowed to decide how they want to be. If you want to be a creedal nation, you get to be a creedal nation. If you want to be an ethno nationalist country that's defined by a shared history, a shared culture, shared values, and yes, a shared bloodline, you should be allowed to do that too, in my opinion. I think that's fair. And so, for people who say like if you want to move here, you need to assimilate, that's fine. And there are other people who say like, hey, look, it doesn't matter. You're not of us. And I think that's fine too. Um, we don't have to keep on talking about immigration if people don't want to. Anyway, cities in South America where women Don't be a passport bro. That's such a low T activity. Great. How about this? Let's have an argument with somebody who says that passport broing is low T activity. Yo, Tin Fish and Tea, I just sent you an invitation. If you're as high T as you say you are, you'll accept the invite to talk about this. But I'm guessing you're pretty low T, so you won't accept the invitation. So by the way, just for the record, I literally have a there's I'm talking about TikTok Doomhauer BTC. Sorry about that. I'm trying to spread myself amongst a bunch of different things, but so I'm not actually talking to him yet. I'm gonna have it on. I'm gonna have it on speaker so that if he accepts this, he'll talk. But it looks like he's a little bitch. And he doesn't want to talk. Are you afraid to talk, bro? Oh, there you are. Did you jump out? There you are.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. So you're saying Passport Bro is low T activity, man? Okay. I think he's just not in a space where he can like talk right now. So that's fine. But anyway, we had a there's actually a testosterone doctor on here on TikTok who had me on because he said that passport broing is the highest T activity. But I'm willing to listen to arguments about why passport broing is low T. So go ahead, the floor is yours.
You're probably right. I was more using it as an insult because it's something I find not for me distasteful. I think race mixing is wrong.
Okay.
So that's where that came from.
Why not just date white girls in Argentina?
Fair point. I feel like when people say passport, bro, my mind automatically goes Thailand or the Philippines and shit like that.
Oh, dude, I would never marry a girl in Thailand or the Philippines. That's a horrible idea. That's an easy way to get all your money stolen.
That's all I've been exposed to of it. Everybody I know who does it seems like they're always going to the Philippines or something.
Okay, dude. So I just want you to know. So I a lot of times have a lot of people talking shit, and so I invite them on. I think you're just talking a little shit. You didn't mean anything by it. I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. I was enjoying your stream.
No worries, man. So I just want to tell you, if you want to become a passport bro and date white girls, I have a lot of videos about the best places to meet white girls. Primarily, you want to go to Argentina. You want to go to places like Mendoza or even like
Southern Cone, they call it, right?
Southern Cone, yeah. Bariloche would be good for you. Bariloche has a huge German population. I'm in Bolivia right now, and we literally, me and my wife on our way to Bolivia, we're on a bus with these people that look like German farmers from the 1850s. Like they looked fucking Amish, you know what I mean? And they were all white, like paler than me, in Paraguay. So I get what you're saying about East Asian girls, but in the Southern Cone, for people who don't want to be dating outside the race, you could definitely meet a lot of top tier white women that have the values of the early 1900s.
It was nice chatting with you, bro. I just wanted to come on and let you know I wasn't being too much of a hater.
No, dude, not at all. I completely misinterpreted your remark. That was my bad. I appreciate you being on the stream. I appreciate you joining, and I appreciate you enjoying the stream, man. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks for having me, bro. You got a follower.
All right, bro. And yeah, so the Southern Cone is definitely where you want to go. Yeah, dude, this dude is cool. So here's the thing, right? Like I'm not reading and analyzing every comment. You know what I mean? So like I misinterpreted what he said and where he was coming from. That was my bad. Dude's a cool guy, so you know, that's my bad. But I respect him for jumping on though. What place in Argentina did you say? First of all, literally anywhere in Argentina, just don't go to Buenos Aires. But if you want to go to, if you want to go to specific places outside, if you want to go to places specific outside of Buenos Aires, go to Mendoza, go to Bariloche, El Calatafe, Punta Arenas in Chile has the largest Croatian population outside of Croatia in the entire world. About 40% of Punta Arenas is Chilean. About 15% of Antofagasta is Chilean as well, is Croatian. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, I mean the beautiful thing is that like I know what I was gonna say. The reason why I kind of went hard on this is because I've been seeing a lot of red pill comment content going after Passport Bros. So he said, "You good, bro? I was just bullshitting. So I just forgot there's real people on the other side." No, 100%, dude. I completely get it. That was completely within the line shit talk. I was just, I was just on guard. I just had my boxing mitts on. You know what I mean? I was ready to punch people in the face. That's my bad. The reason why I kind of said that is because I've been seeing a lot of red pill content, specifically that guy Hayden McDougal. If you guys know him, he's like the women propaganda guy. I saw him. He had on this conservative influencer woman. And by the way, I think that like people need to realize. I saw this point by like Curtis Yarvin today, where he was talking about how I think this is true. Like you kind of need to be suspicious of a lot of conservative women because their first allegiance is to the longhouse. It's not to conservatism. And a lot of times they're going to, you know, throw conservatism and traditional values under the bus in order to protect females in the longhouse. Anyway, so this guy had this like conservative, like Lily Daniels or something, and she was shit talking Passport Bros, and he started shit talking Passport Bros too, and he called it propaganda in order to do race mixing and stuff. And I gotta say, man, first of all, the dude was taking his cue for a woman, and his channel is literally called Women's Propaganda. And that's the thing is that like women, including conservative women, are so threatened by the Passport Bro movement. We're literally realistically, we're the only thing that can really destroy feminism in the United States. The only thing that can really destroy feminism in the United States is men deciding, fuck this, I'm leaving. That's the only real bargaining power we have as men, because women as a whole have decided to band together and just together decide to withhold sex unless we put up with their incredibly horrible behavior. So the only thing we can do realistically is just say, great, we'll leave, right? And so if you want to defeat feminism, I really think that passport broing is the only way to do it. And that's why a lot of women feel incredibly threatened by it. It's because they know that they can't, they know that A, it's the only thing that threatens them, and B, they don't have a defense against it. Women don't have a way to defeat passport bros unless they like force us to stay in the country, right? And so yeah, that's why the conservative women would what they get to realize with a lot of like the turncoat ops. I know I sound a little paranoid here, but hopefully I'm not losing people. Is that like so one thing you have a lot of times in a movement, right? Like a conservative movement, you'll have female commentators, right? And they're there in order to make sure that the movement aligns with the values of women, right? To push the movement, towards women. And so they're willing to sell out on 80% in order to make sure that they get the 20%. And that's how the political consensus forms, right? Is that you have the Democratic Party that's all women, they're demanding 100%, right? And then you have the female conservative commentators who are like, hey guys, the Democrats are crazy about this 80%, but like this 20%, it's reasonable, right? Let's compromise. Let's give them 40%, right? And that's how it gets pushed towards women. And the important thing for these women is to never go mask off. Because once they go mask off, the entire charade fails, right? And so you only go mask off at the most critical junctures. And that's why they're going mask off against passport bros. Is because they realize passport bros are the existential threat to feminism that they're afraid of. So they're willing to throw everything out the window. They're willing to risk everything in order to stop passport bros from existing. And that's why you need to do it. Bro, can you be more careful? I don't want you banned. That's fair, bro. I'm gonna chill on that. Paul cook and let him cook. Not a gripe with Western women, just feminism. Yeah, I mean, like it is kind of like hand in hand because like most Western women are infected with feminism, and the ones that aren't are very adjacent to it. But I mean, my gripe with feminism. Here's the thing, right? Like, and here's an important thing to know about me is that I was a Democrat for most of my life. I believed the stupid shit that 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 they're telling you, right? I believed all of it, right? And then what happened was I looked around and I was just like, wait a second, you know, uh fertility rates are plummeting, marriage rates are plummeting, divorce rates are through the roof, SSRI rates are through the roof, depression is through the roof, self harm is through the roof. Everybody's miserable, nobody's happy. Something's screwed up here, right? So like I don't even have a problem with feminism per se. If feminism led to good outcomes, I wouldn't have a problem with it. The problem with feminism is that it's so clearly and objectively led to horrible outcomes. It's like at this point, what is the case for feminism except I want it that way? Right? Like, what is the case for feminism except for I, I would prefer it to be so? Because literally, like, you look at any social markers for happiness, and they're all plummeting and destroyed. So that's my problem with it. Is that like it seems like an experiment that's objectively failed. And I actually heard a really good quote today. I don't know who it was. I hopefully I'm not stealing from somebody who's like just trying to pay their bills. Hopefully I'm stealing from like a philosopher's been dead for 1,000 years. But like I heard a quote today that I really love, which is that tradition is just experiments that worked. Tradition is just experiments that worked. And that's the thing is you have to realize that like all of these experiments have been going on for thousands of years. And the fact that like our our society was built a certain way over the course of thousands of years is because that way of doing things worked. And so we tried this experiment of feminism for the past 60 years, and it's produced terrible results. And I was all in on the experiment. And I'm like, guys, this experiment is destroying everything. Let's turn the machine off. Anyway. Um the first let me see. What's up, Paulie? What's up, man? Um So I just want to address one thing that Tidfish and T said. He said, I love most other countries. I love mine the most, just FYI. Asians are cool AF. I love to visit the country as a tourist, but I want to go home after all. 100%. And I think that this is a perspective that people demonize. I think it's completely unfair, right? Like, in what world is I like your country, but I also like mine, and I want mine to stay the same, racist? I think the perspective of I hate my country, so I want your country to turn into my country. That's the racist perspective, and also frankly deranged. But for some reason, anyway, I'm not gonna say that. I don't think you can put that cat in the bag, so to speak. You 100% can put it back in the bag, and we're going to. The Reconquista starts today. I'm actually going to start printing out shirts. Who wants to buy shirts? The Reconquista starts today. We're gonna destroy feminism for good. Anyway, is it feminism just men and women want equal rights? Sounds fine to me. I mean, it's just like a completely misunderstanding of what feminism is. What about feminism is destroying everything? They get like how? Okay, well, I mean, here's how feminism is destroying everything. Women are spending their 20s focused on their career instead of focused on getting married. Because of that, marriage rates are going down, right? Because of that, fertility rates around the world are going down. Men and women. I guess here's the fundamental thing, right? And like I really like to tell this story because I think it's like it's a simple concept that's really illustrative. And it's really easy to understand when you impose it on other people. It makes it easier to understand yourself, right? So I saw this video online. It was like on Instagram or something. It was like a beaver that was, yeah, it was a beaver that was like rescued at like, 2 months old, right? So it was a beaver who was biologically a beaver, and he was raised his entire life amongst humans and dogs, right? And it was a video of this beaver, like 5 years old now, and he was taking chairs in the family's dining room and making them into a dam, right? And that's the thing, is that like you have these biological imperatives and these biological urges that are so deeply ingrained within you that even if you put yourself in a different environment, you still have to do them. Beavers still need to build dams, right? And men still need to be the head of a household. Women still need to have children, right? These are biological necessities. And when you deprive people of these things, they get depressed. Their circuits start misfiring. Crazy stuff starts happening, right? And that's how you see this uptick in SSRI usage, in depression, in all of these huge problems that are existing in our societies. Because fundamentally, what you see are men and women, these beavers, that should be out building dams and aren't able to go out building dams. You have these 37-year-old women that should be at home waiting for their first grandchild, right? And they're not. They're out at a club, partying, pretending to love to party. Because here's the thing, right? Like I hate to sound like this guy. Everybody pretend like 30 to 40% of going out is performative, even when you're in your 20s, right? But when you're in your 30s, it's like 70% performative, right? So you have these women who are out in the club drinking, pretending to be having this great life, when really biologically what their bodies want is to be at home being a mother. And you have these men who are, and you have all these different types of men, right? You have men who have never been with a woman, whose brain really starts frying and they start going crazy. You have men who have just been beaten into submission by the longhouse, who become soy boys, right? But this is where all this degenerate behavior comes from. The fact that men and women were specifically built, You can believe by God like I do, or believe biologically, evolutionarily, but we're built for one another and are not in that situation. And that is causing all of the misery, right? And so women focusing on work, women not focusing on getting married. You also now have a two income trap where both parents need to be out working in order to be able to support the lifestyle. That wasn't the case in 1950, right? When you double the workforce, you decrease the amount that each person makes, and therefore every single person now needs some other people in order to be able to make ends meet. Anyway, I'm gonna read some of these comments. Yo, but women are socialized to see depending on or serving a man as man. No, 100%. It's all socialization. It's all socialization. Somebody said, I think feminism is the public brand, but it's something different underneath. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I'm a Catholic, so I believe that it's the work of the devil personally. But, yeah. So, do you like the USA or no? I love America. I hope to move back to America. Here's my fundamental point about Passport Bros. I think this is the real fundamental point about Passport Bros, which is that I think America has a huge amount of problems with it right now, an insane amount of problems, right? And those, if I were to live in America, those problems would materially impact and destroy my life, right? Just at the beginning, just top problems: feminism, the fact that most women suck in America, right? And B, the livability in America, right? Those are the two big problems, right? And C, the culture. I think there's a huge culture problem, but like that's a different, larger conversation, right? So those two problems exist, right? And I have two options. Option A, I can spend my life fighting those problems and try to get those problems fixed and then settle down and have a family. Or option B, I can go to a place that doesn't have those problems, get my life started, have a family, have kids, and then once I do all that, come back to America and fight for a better America in the future for the next generation. I think people need to choose option B, personally. I think you need to focus on yourself and making yourself happy first, and then you can go fix other people's problems. If for no other reason, then you don't get perspective on this stuff until you have actually fixed your own problems. You don't have the perspective to fix other people's problems until you fix your own problems, right? So that's what I think is the fundamental truth about Passport Bros. Is you have these problems, these fundamental problems exist in America. Obviously, I love America. I'm always going to be an American first. I want America to succeed and I want to solve these problems in America. But right now, my priority is having a child. And I can't have that in America right now. Sorry, I just can't. And you can't either. So go abroad, marry abroad. If you want to race mix, race mix. If you don't want to race mix, go to Argentina, whatever it is. Fix your current problem today and then fix the larger problems later. Um Unless you're happy, safe, and secure in yourself, you're overly vulnerable to attack from outside. 100%. Why don't you have a family now? Why wait? Let me see. So me and my wife got married in July. We've been trying to have a child, but we've had some medical issues. So I don't really want to go into those if that's okay. But yeah, we've had some medical issues that have stopped us from having a kid, sadly. But thanks for all this information. You'll learn this perspective in school. Oh, 100%. I mean, the reason why I don't learn this perspective in school is because the whole purpose of school is to indoctrinate you in this leftist ideology. If you race miss your child needs an organ transplant, it's basically game over. Um, yeah, I mean, my wife is Venezuelan, but she's genetically half Italian, half Spanish. So, Paulie, should I passport bro in China? Yeah, dude, go for it, bro. Why causes of expenses or politics? I don't know what you mean though. I don't know what you mean by that. Um, I mean, the expensiveness is caused by inflation. Why even get married? Why even get married? Um, I find this argument to be so silly. So like I okay, let me step back. A lot of people will say like I'm black pilled, right? And I'll say this: I am black pilled on America. I am not black pilled in general. You know what I mean? I'm not black pilled on life, bro. So your wife is half Italian, half Spanish. God bless you, bro. Dinner must be loud as fuck. No, bro. It's sad. She cooks me Venezuelan food, which is not good, bro. It's like my curse in life that a guy this fat has a wife whose cooking sucks so much. I'm just kidding. She tries her hardest, and um she can make some dishes very well. Let's just say that. And she's trying to get a lot better at it. So I'm just kind of talking shit. Um anyway, oh yeah, why even get married? First of all, like you should get married because just stop being a little bitch and get fucking married. How about that? That's like that's like that's like the very simple reason why. Because fuck you. That's why. Two, you should get married because you need to go and propagate the species, and you can only do that in a marriage, right? I have this argument with people all the time, including my brother, who decided that he doesn't want to propagate this species, which is that you do not exist in a vacuum. You have an obligation, not to your parents, not to your grandparents, not even to your great grandparents. You have an obligation to the millions and billions of people who built Western civilization for you to keep the experiment running. These people built the greatest civilization and the greatest life ever for you. You don't have a right to just say thank you and don't continue. Sorry, you don't. You don't have that right. Because they didn't build it for you. They built it for all of their descendants. And you don't get to just end the line here. I'm sorry. If you started out your life in the jungle in Africa and you yourself built every single thing in your life, you built plumbing, you built electricity, you built the iPhone, you built your own personal internet, you built all that type of stuff, then yes, sure, fine, don't have kids. But you right now are standing on the shoulders of giants and you have an obligation to keep the species going. I'm sorry, and I don't care who disagrees with me. You can go fuck yourself. Because if you disagree with me, you're the fucking problem with this world. So that's two reasons, right? Two reasons why. The third reason is because, as I said earlier, you're a beaver who is being raised in a household without a dam. The reason why you're depressed, the reason why you're unhappy is because you don't have a family. Is because it is your biological imperative to have a family, to have kids, to be the head of your household, to have a wife that depends on you and loves you and supports you and cooks for you and cleans for you. and is dedicated to you the way that you're dedicated to her, and for the both of you to spend your time raising your children. That is your biological imperative. That is what makes you happy. And you can't erase millions of years of evolution with some cocaine. I'm sorry. It's going to leave you unhappy. So those are the three reasons, right? You should get married, you should have kids. One, fuck you, do it. Two, you have an obligation to the human race to keep on doing it. And three, it's also the thing that's going to make you happy in your life in a way that nothing else in life is ever going to make you happy. And by the way, I'm not even saying that like you have to get married in America. I'm not even saying that like you can't spend some time partying before getting married. I think as somebody who spent my 20s partying, I wish I'd spent my 20s getting married instead. But everybody to each their own. But that is your end goal, and that needs to be it. You lost me, Chief. I don't care. I don't owe my seed to anyone. I can just say no. Just means my genetics end. You do owe your seed. You owe it to the thousands of people, the millions of people in your genetic lineage that are the reason why you came around. Is three plus kids common in Paraguay or Argentina? My paternal side's bloodline is basically extinct. I see it as an obligation. Good job, Scott. Scott is the type of follower that I love. That is the exact right comment. And me and my wife are of the same opinion. Me and my wife want to have at least 3, maybe up to 6 kids for that exact reason. My bloodline, I'm the only child of all of my cousins that is having kids, but we are going to keep this bloodline going. Paulie, serious question. I'm half Chinese, born in the US. I'm considering moving back to China. Do it, man. Enjoy it. Correction. Some people have an obligation. Marriage procreation is definitely not for everyone. No, everybody has an obligation. That is my entire point, that everybody has an obligation. Curious, how can you afford 6 kids? Live in South America, man. I've known my whole life I don't want kids. Let me ask you a question. How many things are you of the opinion of today that you still have that opinion when you like, how many things do you still have the opinion of that you had when you were like 5? People say this to me all the time, like, I've decided my whole life that I don't want to do this. As if that's somehow like a reason for it. Like when I was 6, I decided this, and I'm gonna have this same opinion forever. It's like, okay, like things change in your life, man. Some people have serious mental issues and should not be procreating. Okay, so let me just say this, okay? The people who should not be procreating are such exceptions to the rule that to even bring them up in the context of this discussion doesn't make any sense. I have a family member who doesn't have any kids for that reason, actually. And I'm completely fine with his decision not to. So yes, there's some people who shouldn't, but they are a minute percent of the conversation, to the point where like it doesn't make sense talking about them, to be honest. It just doesn't. Because there are other people who would be like, yeah, man, I'm kind of on the spectrum. I shouldn't have kids. It's just like, no. %15 of the population have serious mental issues to the point where they can't have kids. 15%? No, that's not true. That's not true. That is ridiculous. You're one of the you probably believe in long COVID. You probably believe in long COVID. You're probably still wearing a mask. I told my parents at 12 I would live my life traveling, did not want marriage or kids. Those all hold true today and how I live now. Yeah, but here's the thing, man. Like, you should change your opinion from when you're 12. Like, the fact that you still have the same opinions that you did when you're 12 is shocking. Like when I was 12, I thought girls had cooties. When I was 12, I hated sushi. When I was 12, I thought the United Kingdom was a great country. There are all these different opinions I had when I was 12. You need to update your opinions when you get older. You need to change your opinions. And this is one of the problems that people live in this state of arrested development. People who are 30 who want to live like they're 12 or they're 15. And it's like, no, you need to update. You need to grow up. You need to change. Bro, like this is literally a travel TikTok. You don't think I've traveled the world? I've traveled the world too. I can tell you, even as somebody who's not been a father yet, I would trade every experience that I've had. If tomorrow God came down and told me, Paul, you have two options: never travel again. You're like, I'm gonna put you in a city and you're gonna live in that city for the rest of your life. You cannot leave, but you get to have children, or you can travel. I would pick A in a heartbeat without even thinking about it. I would choose A. If he said, Paul, you have to exchange all of your travel experiences so far for a child, I would do that in a second. Again, this is a travel TikTok, and it's fucking stupid. It's not that important. It really isn't. Like, it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and we have a lot of fun talking about it. And we talk about, like, hey, have you had a caparina on the beach of Copacabana? Have you had a pizza in Italy? Have you had sushi in Tokyo? Have you like pet an elephant in Thailand? These are all cool experiences, but it's nothing compared to having a child. Like, come on, man. Um, Logvid is real. At least I made the VA believe that. Cha-ching. Another 15% who are too socially stunted, immature, unproductive. What does that mean? Who are stunted? Though, then those people should not be socially stunted anymore, and they shouldn't be immature anymore, and they should be more productive. If you bought a vacation home, second residence outside of U.S., yo, Seth Fabella, my boy. If I bought a vacation home, second residence outside the U.S., Seth already knows what I would choose, though. I would choose Cartagena, man. Or like, here's another place I would choose. Here, we're gonna stop talking. Look, we've been doing this for 3 hours. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop preaching, and I'm gonna start. We're gonna do 15 more minutes of fun travel stuff, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. How about that? I appreciate all of you letting me go on my soapbox, though. So here, let me share this for you. Yeah, but the way that you get people to stop being productive and to stop acting that way is by giving them responsibility. But I'm not even going to. I'm not talking about that anymore. Honestly, we're switching subjects. This is one thing I need to learn how to be a lot better at. Is that like I'll be like, hey, we're switching subjects, and then people will like refuse to switch subjects with me. And I need to get better at just being like, no, I said we're switching subjects. We're fucking switching subjects. Shut up. So anyway, here. Here are some places, Seth Fabella, that I would go to for a second home. Um, this is one of my favorite places on earth. I haven't been here in a long time though, but this is one of my favorite places on earth. It's called Santa Teresa, Costa Rica. The way that I think about this place is like do you know those scenes like for example like in Shawshank Redemption or like True Romance? This is really big trope in the 90s. Um where like a person or like at the end of the Born Identity or the beginning of the Born Supremacy, where like a guy like obviously like the whole movie goes through a lot of shit, and then at the end of it, he's just like on a beach somewhere, like living like sipping margaritas, and that's kind of like the way that like they show that he's won and he's happy. Like Santa Teresa, Costa Rica is that place for me. It's like, you know, this is how, you know, this is like the you've won at life and you're just chilling type of place. By the way, Tanthrus, one thing I appreciate about you, man, is that you and I disagreed so vociferously about children, but we're still chill. At least I'm still chill. I hope you're still chill. But it seems like you're still chill because you're asking questions that are not about this, you know. Um, but anyway, do you have a top three of places you really want to go to next that you've never been? Yeah, yeah, Costa Rica is incredibly stable. The one problem with Costa Rica is that it's pretty expensive relatively speaking. But so one other nice thing about Santa Teresa, just for people to know, for like the people who, just for the people who like to get into degeneracy, is that Santa Teresa is over here. Basically, um, whenever you want to do some degenerate shit, you just take a bus from Santa Teresa to Kabuya. It's like a 30-minute bus. And then what you do is you then they have a motorboat that goes across to Hako, and Hako is like one of the degenerate centers in South America. Um, but yeah, so top three places you want to go to that you've never been. Yeah, so number one that I really want to go to is Oaxaca. In general, like my general thing that I want to do for traveling, and like I probably won't be able to do this, but I really want to go and spend 3 months in China, 3 months in Japan, and 3 months in Mexico. Those are like the three countries I really want to explore more. But like top of my Mexico list is Oaxaca. I really want to visit Oaxaca. Um, obviously, like literally any place in Japan that's not Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, or Shimu. By the way, for people who I wouldn't recommend this if you're just going for a week or so, but if you are going for like a month and you're moving around, um, yeah, thanks, man. If you're moving around, um, Japan. Like, let's say you're doing a month trip or you're moving around Japan. I would recommend spending like a day or two in Shimu. Shimu is actually like a pretty cool place. I was here for Formula One, but Shimu is like a really beautiful place. We actually didn't see any of the scenery, so I don't know if there's actually anything that beautiful here, but Shimu was really chill. I liked it a lot. Yeah, Mexico is top of my list. Um. Anyway, Taiwan is also Taiwan is the only country in East Asia that I've not been to, so I need to go to Taiwan just to like check it off my list. I know I should talk Pokemon Travelers, but like everybody Pokemon travels a little bit. You know what I mean? It's just a question of like not Pokemon traveling too much. Osaka's the best city in Japan. I haven't spent enough time to like really know, but like I don't think that's true. I think that um I think that what's it called? I think Tokyo's better. Don't overthink it, man. So many people overthink travel, bro. Stay pure. Bro, Latinas are literally I mean, we've gone over this so many times. So people who don't watch my videos and then just come in here and talk shit. It's like there's so many Latinos that are like whiter than you. You know what I mean? For someone who moves to Paraguay, what's a good vacation house spot that's semi-affordable? Um, Here, let me finish answering this question first, then I'm gonna get there. So my top three answers were what is it? Oaxaca, Shenzhen, and then where else do I really want to go to? Oh, I really want to go to Kazakhstan. That's kind of at the top. DNA test would say otherwise. No, it wouldn't say otherwise. You don't know anything about like the migratory patterns of people in Latin America. You really don't. So I like I don't even know I don't know why I'm talking about you, man. I don't even know why I'm talking to you about this. Here, feel free to join as a multicast, or else you're a pussy. For someone who moves to Paraguay, what's a good vacation spot? The problem with Paraguay is that Paraguay is a little bit is not like a nice enough place really to have like a vacation spot. Um, they're like here. Let me show you this. If I can't get a good picture from here, I'm gonna try to get a good picture from myself, but we should be able to. Yeah, this picture doesn't do it justice. Like, so the river in Paraguay sucks. It's not like a fun river to hang out in. Costanera de So this is called Costanera. This is like the river area that people go hang out on. It's not like a fun. It's not really like a river. Um, so like it's like so the reason why Paraguay is such a nice place to live is because it's such a terrible vacation spot. Like that's my honest truth about Paraguay. Oh, like a secondary home outside of Paraguay. Oh, if you, I'm assuming you have a bit of a budget. If you have a secondary, if you have the budget for a secondary place outside of Paraguay, then you should go over here. Um, Puerto Montt is, I mean, Bariloche is too expensive, but Puerto Montt, this is where you want to be. Here, let me see if I can get you some photos. Yeah, this is one of my dream places to go to. I haven't been to Puerto Montt, but this is one of my dream places. Um, oh, Puni Police didn't accept the invitation because he's a little bitch. Is what we found out about him. Anyway, do we have any other travel questions? I know I went on like a little bit of a politics rant. I tried to not do that too many times, but I think, as I said, man, like being a passport bro is an inherently political act. So you know you can't avoid politics completely, but at the same time, like harassment and bullying. Okay. Apparently my live has been restricted for 10 minutes because I'm harassing people. Oh, it's probably because I called him a little B. That makes sense. Okay. That's fair. Fair play, TikTok. You are right. I did harass and bully him, I guess. Anyway, let me know, guys, if you have any last questions. Otherwise, I'm going to drop off soon. This has been a 3-hour live. I've had a good time. Hope you guys have had a good time too. Again, let me know any last questions. Let me see what numbers I'm doing on Twitch nowadays. Do I have some more followers on Twitch? Oh, I have 2 viewers right now. That's awesome, man. And we have 3 followers on Twitch. My long-term goal is to switch to Twitch. So hopefully we can get more Twitch followers up. Just lurking. Yeah, man. Appreciate you. Is Medellin a good spot? No, it's not a good spot. I made a lot of videos about how Medellin is not a good spot and you shouldn't go to Medellin. So, no, Medellin is a terrible spot. Don't go to Medellin. It's horrible. It's not dead. It has a lot of people, but it's not a place you should go. Yo, what up, Matthew? Anyway, let me know if I'm gonna get a couple last, give like 30 seconds for last question. Otherwise, I'm gonna peace out. Again, thanks everyone for dropping by. John Calvin, as always. There's that guy earlier who I kind of like had an argument with. He's chill. My bad. Scott, my boy. I'm just shouting people out right now. Tanthras, you and I disagreed, but hopefully respectfully. I appreciate you. Have some kids, though. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace out.